Hello, everyone. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to listen to my speech. In 2019, OpenAI's GPT-2, a predecessor to the current model, was deemed too dangerous to be released to the public. Why? Because this cutting-edge AI, with its ability to create eerily persuasive fake news, forced society to confront the shadows of technological innovation. Fast forward to today, and the echo of that decision lingers. Artificial intelligence, a force that once posed a threat to be contained, now beckons us into a realm where innovation lingers on the edge of ethical boundaries. Join me as I unravel the enigma of AI, where power, progress, and ethical dilemmas collide in a symphony of possibility. Fascinating, right? What I just told you, I got straight from ChatGPT. You might ask what artificial intelligence is. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is the ability of a computer or a robot controlled by a computer to do tasks that are usually done by humans because they require human discernment. This leads us to the question, when did artificial intelligence first appear? And to answer that question, we'll go back to the 20th century. With the midpoint of the 20th century came the rise and massive breakthroughs in science and technology, and among these advancements was the rise of artificial intelligence. This rise gained momentum after ideas like the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz and the humanoid robot from Metropolis were first introduced. By the 1950s, scientists, inventors, mathematicians, and technicians all had the idea and concept of artificial intelligence occupying their mind. Whether for better or for worse, history has a way of defining the future, and artificial intelligence is doing just that by playing an enormous role in society through continually changing how it functions. So, what are some of the latest developments resulting from the artificial intelligence? One major impact of AI has been the release of ChatGPT. Since its launch in November of 2022, OpenAI's creation has played a significant role by influencing many fields worldwide, such as the technology, legal industry, and media jobs. The question on the minds of many is whether technology such as artificial intelligence and ChatGPT will be more detrimental or beneficial. And given their substantial impact on various fields, concerns arise about the potential implications for creativity among students and the job market, not excluding the fact that chatbots such as ChatGPT could potentially replace numerous white-collar jobs. The question on the minds of many is whether this brings forth an issue regarding the use of artificial intelligence in our world. And while AI can improve life in many ways, it can also be dangerous if misused. We can all agree that artificial intelligence is making major changes in society. Some people believe that artificial intelligence can be morally wrong, and others believe that it is a necessary good. While some people believe that the use of AI is important and does not matter, the ethical use of artificial intelligence matters because of three reasons. Morally, it is wrong to abuse it, it can be dangerous if used improperly, and human bias can produce dire outcomes. The first reason why society should consider the ethical use of artificial intelligence is because morally it is wrong to abuse it. As Queensborough College states, all societies need moral codes to survive, and without moral rules, there is disharmony and chaos which no society can long survive. If society cannot survive without moral rules, why would we even consider not taking them into account when dealing with a subject as consequential as artificial intelligence? Biblically speaking, it is also wrong to abuse the use of anything, and artificial intelligence has the power to ruin lives if used wrongly. In artificial intelligence, we have been gifted with much, and therefore we have a higher expectancy to use it for right and not for wrong. One such example of the dilemma that occurs when using artificial intelligence has been happening very recently. On February 29th of this year, Elon Musk filed a lawsuit against OpenAI, claiming that it abandoned the original startup's mission to develop artificial intelligence for the benefit of humanity and not for profit. Musk, along with others, formed OpenAI in 2015 with the agreement that its mission would be to make AI freely available for the benefit of humanity. And now, according to Elon and his lawyers, OpenAI has abandoned that principle by reconstructing OpenAI's board to replace AI experts and ethicists with more business-oriented members. This can mark a change towards a more business-oriented and profit-driven model, and this risks OpenAI exploiting the novelty of AI and abusing its power. Another issue concerning the moral use of artificial intelligence is the truthfulness and accuracy of any AI-generated content. Truthful QA is a benchmark that measures the accuracy of AI model is when generating information. And this test has 817 questions which span multiple categories of information. According to this benchmark, only about 25% of AI-generated information is true. The dilemmas shown above raise even more fuel in the debate that raises the question of whether or not artificial intelligence has enough limits. Without giving due consideration to the ethical and moral dimensions of AI, we could soon find ourselves inhabiting a world where safety is compromised by the misuse of AI. The second reason why society needs to consider the ethical use of AI is because it can be dangerous if used improperly. This occurs when AI is used with ill intent by people or organizations. And one example of the dangers of artificial intelligence are LAWs, also known as lethal autonomous weapon systems. According to the Congressional Research Service, LAWs are a special class of weapon systems which use sensor suites and computer algorithms to independently identify a target and employ an onboard weapon system to engage and destroy that target without manual human control of the system. These weapons, just like the humans who invented them, are not perfect, and just a few disadvantages of them are algorithmic biases, digital dehumanization, the loss of meaningful human control, and the lack of accountability these machines have. Yet another way AI can be dangerous if misused is when it creates deepfakes. Deepfakes are a combination of deep learning and fake media, and this term refers to when artificial intelligence generates fake media. One such example of deepfakes is a video that was released by the Dutch YouTube channel DiepNet. In this video, artificial intelligence was used to create a fake Morgan Freeman. And even though he tells us in the video, "I am not Morgan Freeman," this video is still shockingly realistic and must make us all more aware of the dangerous implications of deepfakes and the possible misuse of artificial intelligence. Technology such as deepfakes should be used with the utmost caution, and if not regulated carefully, the next thing we might see is deepfakes being used in our elections or our identities being stolen with them. Anything is possible when unregulated power falls into the hands of those who would abuse it. Another danger behind the use of artificial intelligence is dependence on it that will come from overusing it. As Forbes states, over-reliance on AI systems may lead to a loss of creativity, critical thinking skills, and human intuition. In a study done on over 300,000 Americans by the College of William and Mary, it was found that creativity scores have been rising steadily, along with IQ scores, until about 1990. After 1990, the scores for IQ continued to rise, but strangely, the scores for creativity did not. Since 1990, the scores for creativity in people, especially young children ages kindergarten through 6th grade, has been steadily decreasing. And these drawbacks give more than enough reason to bring caution to the use of artificial intelligence and to consider the ethics behind it. The third reason why society needs to consider the ethical use of artificial intelligence is because human bias can produce dire outcomes. As Ecclesiastes 7:20 states, "Indeed there is no one on earth who is righteous, no one who does what is right and never sins." Humans are not perfect. And if we are not perfect, how can we create something that is? The answer is that we cannot. No matter how hard we try, we will never be able to do what only God can do, create perfection. We must be aware of this and be prepared to deal with the consequences of imperfect artificial intelligence. The University of California, San Francisco states, "Everyone holds unconscious beliefs about various social and identity groups." This means that every human has bias. And this bias can in turn negatively affect certain groups of people. Over the past few years, society has just started to wrestle with just how much human biases can make their way into artificial intelligence systems. At a time when companies are looking to deploy AI systems across their operations, being acutely aware of those risks and working to reduce them must become an urgent priority. Finally, bias can produce dire outcomes by inadvertently affecting genders. In 1988, the UK Commission for Racial Inequality found a British medical school guilty of discrimination. The computer program it was using to determine which applicants would be invited for interviews was found to be biased against women and those with non-European names. However, the program had been developed to copy human admission decisions, and it did so, with 90 to 95% accuracy. Using an algorithm did not cure human bias decision-making. It made it worse. And this shows that it can be extremely difficult to remove human bias from artificial intelligence. This is yet another reason why society must consider the ethical use of AI. Regardless of the previous reasons, some people will still argue that how you use artificial intelligence is not important. They would say that as long as it does not explicitly harm anyone, helps them make more money, or helps their future, why should they not use it? They believe they need to look out for themselves using AI. However, in doing so, they are implicitly harming themselves anyways. These arguments are a narrow-minded viewpoint and do not take into the larger perspective, which is that all of these do inadvertently affect themselves and others. That is why these arguments do not excuse the abuse of artificial intelligence. The second reason people give as to why the ethics of artificial intelligence do not matter is they would say the potential benefits outweigh the potential negative effects of it. They believe that AI has the potential to revolutionize industry, improve efficiency, and solve complex problems. And in their minds, this leads to widespread societal benefits such as economic growth, increased productivity, and better quality of life. They would also argue that using AI to advance human knowledge is well worth the potential risk it brings. And lastly, they would say that the money it can make through better market strategies is worth the potential lack of ethics involved. These arguments, however pleasant sounding, do not excuse the abuse of artificial intelligence. And without due thought, this can lead to harmful outcomes, such as the infringement of privacy rights and the heightening of social inequalities. Even though others will say that it's okay to ignore the ethics behind artificial intelligence and that it does not explicitly harm anyone, these arguments fail to acknowledge the significant ethical, social, and moral considerations surrounding the use of AI technologies. In conclusion, the world of artificial intelligence is a vast and complex landscape, urgently requiring an ethical compass to guide our exploration of it. From its inception to its current state, and towards a potentially promising future, AI's journey has been marked by many wonders. Wonders which have the potential to bring about beneficial changes in society. Yet, its potential impact looms ominously, capable of either safeguarding our children's future or robbing them of a promising future. And as we navigate this terrain, it becomes evident that the ethical considerations surrounding the use of AI are not mere possibilities, but rather real implications with far-reaching consequences. The breakthroughs in technological wonder are overshadowed by the exploitation and misuse of its powerful potential. Society must therefore prioritize the ethical and moral use of artificial intelligence. Realizing that AI can be dangerous if misused, it is wrong to abuse it, and human bias can produce dire outcomes. In essence, the ethical considerations surrounding the use of AI are not merely something to discuss and then forget about, but rather a call to action, ensuring that it leaves a positive change on society. Let us heed these arguments and use AI responsibly, shaping a better future for ourselves and for generations to come. Thank you for your time.
Very good, Andrew. Number of questions for you, since you're the last speaker of the day. What do you think changed when ChatGPT was deemed too scary to release, but ChatGPT 3.5 was released?
So actually, I'm not 100% sure what changed, but I'm sure that they were working on developing and making it so that it's safer to use and doesn't just generate completely, like as I stated, that 25% of AI generated content, only 25% is true. So my guess would be that before that, it was less than that, although I'm not completely sure what changed.
This will go to the next question. ChatGPT's willingness to answer the question very confidently, even when it's wrong, in an imperfect world, how do you feel people are going to be able to identify what is true and what is fake when someone can stand in front of you very confidently and lie to you?
Yeah, so fact checking. In anything in life, anything you're told, it's always smart to fact check it. So especially when it concerns ChatGPT, when you know 25% of it is true and 75% is not, making sure to check what you find, whether it be through other sources, through people you know, that would be the smartest way to go about it. Or just don't use it for information that is very dangerous. Yeah.
What if you use ChatGPT to check its bias on itself? That's not going. as far as we have creativity gets brought up a lot when it comes to AI, and that if we have it just write all our art for us. How do you think music programs in schools have affected people's ability to be creative versus just learning history books all day?
I think music programs teach them something else that's necessary to them. I think that your brain doesn't need just facts about stuff. Like music also helps create more creativity in students by giving them the ability to express any artistic skills they have. Is that what you kind of addressed? Okay.
Yeah. And this goes to Pamela's talk a little bit when it comes to different biases and stuff in education. Do you think, and how do you think being able to ask more questions to a AI type system and get immediate answers to anything that you ever wondered helps with your education?
So one way I've specifically used it myself is synonyms. I think that especially when you're using online sources, you often are looking for stronger words for different things, and it's hard because they don't have the ability like ChatGPT does that you can specifically change it to help you and direct more what it's giving you. So as long as you're being careful how you use it and not just being, hey, give me this and write this for me, do this for me. Instead you direct it and hey, here's this, what's your feedback on it? I think that's one way you can use it in education.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Well done, Drew. Couple questions. You mentioned a lot about the idea of a moral ethical code or compass. In your opinion, who should determine the moral ethical compass or code for AI?
As a Christian, I would say God or the Bible, therefore, which is his word, so him. But what most people would say, I'm not really sure where most people get their ethics from. I get them from the Bible, but other people would have differing opinions on that, and that's why society has so many problems today. But yeah, from the Bible. There's a lot it says. It might not specifically refer to artificial intelligence, but as I stated in Luke and in Ecclesiastes, those are just some things that say to be careful of what you use when you're given much. And there are definitely things that say how you use stuff. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal. That's all guidelines you can use when you're dealing with artificial intelligence.
Excellent. I think the Bible's a great place to get your moral ethical code from. What kind of accountability or safeguards would you suggest we provide for AI?
What accountability things for it?
Like accountabilities or safeguards. You mentioned the need for those things, and without those things, it can be very harmful. What are some practical things that currently are not out there that you would suggest that we provide?
Definitely, it'd be, I think, great if that's something, they already have stuff that can fact check what it does out there, but if they could put more guidelines on OpenAI and make sure that they're not just rushing ahead into the future without being more aware of what their implications of that are, maybe a board, not OpenAI's board, because that's the board of the company, so obviously it's going to be more for profit, but if they can create maybe a board that can regulate, this is what artificial intelligence is and this is what you have to do when developing it.
And then a final question. How would you suggest removing human bias from AI? I know at some point that's seemingly impossible, but what are some suggestions you would have to removing it as much as possible?
Yeah, as I said, every human has bias, so removing that is extremely hard. Removing your bias is something that you kind of have to deal with throughout your entire life. You always have a bias about literally every little thing, and I don't know if it's possible to remove 100% of human bias from AI systems. You can work and you can try to be more open. You can get other people to second check your work. That would probably be the best way. Get other people to take a look at yours and make sure, are there human bias? Is my bias coming out in this?
Excellent answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Well done. Have you heard of the word AI literacy?
I have not.
Okay, all right. It's just a word that seems to capitalize on what you said about, us being empowered to know how to use it and use it well, and to know the ethical considerations or implications that AI can bring. If we as a society are seeing more of the rise of AI in what we do, what steps do you think it would take to make our society more AI literate?
To make them understand how to use AI better.
Yes, and to understand even the cons of it and even the bias. What steps might we as a society do, or what steps can we have out there for our society so that they can become more AI literate?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one thing you can always do to find out anything about any information is there are already online stuff that explains what it is, how to use it properly. So definitely just using those, that's already resources that are available. For rising generations, I mean, as much as we hate to say it, you can add it to the education system. I mean, no students are gonna like that idea, one more thing to learn, but that does help them learn about it.
Good. And how can AI be used to promote inclusivity and accessibility for marginalized communities? What can they do so that everyone has access to the AI capabilities, even the marginalized communities?
So your question is how to make it so that anyone can access artificial intelligence?
Yes.
I would say that everyone already can access it. I mean, in most places, I personally have a version you don't pay for. You can always pay for a better version of something normally, but artificial intelligence or ChatGPT explicitly is free to those who would want to use it. So I would argue that everyone already has access to it as long as they have a device or internet connection. Now, if you're talking about those without internet connection, that's a whole other problem because we can't necessarily give everyone that free connection.
Thank you.
A follow-up on her question, actually. So you spoke about people with internet access and things like that. What about folks who can only speak sign language or can't see?
Yeah, I mean, there's already ways of making it so that you can get information online, like into different faculties like that. And I think as long as someone is out there willing to develop that, I think someone should definitely go ahead and develop and make it so that blind people can see it through, forget the word is for where you can feel the letters instead of reading them through that. Or through, Braille, maybe. Or just through sign language. I think there's definitely people who are smart enough to transpose it into something that they can access. And that's what should be done.